Republican presidential candidates battling it out in Wisconsin last night in the race for the GOP nomination. They not only took aim at President Biden, but also each other. Former Vice President and GOP presidential candidate Mike Pence cracking a joke when asked about mental competency tests. Watch this.
Should presidents have to pass a mental and physical test in order to serve Vice President Pence?
Well, it might be a good idea to have everybody in Washington, D.C. pass a mental and
Joining me now, presidential candidate and former Vice President Mike Pence. Sir, good morning.
Good morning, Cheryl. Thanks for having me on.
It was great to see you, sir. So how was that moment for you? You got quite a laugh from the audience.
Well, it just shows you how frustrated people are with Washington, D.C. I mean, President Joe Biden and the Democrats have literally failed the American people at home and abroad. And I thought we had a good, vigorous debate about the way forward for our country. But for me, I wanted to make sure people knew. The reason I'm in this race is because I think the country's in a lot of trouble. And in all humility, I believe that because of my years as vice president, because of my years leading Indiana as governor, because of my years as our conservative leader in the House of Representatives, that I'll be ready day one to turn this country around and give us government as good as our people.
You know, one of the things that we didn't hear too much about last night was, and this has been the criticism for most of the debate, was, we wanted to hear a lot more specifics. Let's get specifics from you this morning on the economy. President Biden is running on Bidenomics. We've got high inflation. Gas prices are going higher. Many Americans are struggling at the grocery store. Here's your chance. What is your plan to fix the U.S. economy and change what Joe Biden has done to this economy?
Well, I was the first candidate in the Republican field to actually come out with a plan to combat inflation. People can go to MikePence2024.com and read all about it. I mean, look, we've got to get spending under control. I specifically outlined $1.2 trillion in budget cuts that will begin to restore fiscal discipline and a commitment to reform some of these long-term obligations in the federal government. I want to get the Federal Reserve back in its lane. I want them focusing on protecting the integrity of the dollar instead of this so-called dual mandate that's been in place for 20 years. I want to unleash American energy. I want to roll back regulations so that we reshore American jobs. We do all of those things, Cheryl. I think you all know here on this great program and network that's the way that we're going to drive down inflation and also create real economic growth. But there were choices on that stage last night. I mean, you literally have people on that stage who are walking away from even dealing with the debt crisis facing the American people today, with a national debt the size of our nation's economy. And also, you actually have one candidate on that stage that wants to go to a 59% inheritance tax. I'm committed to preserving the Trump-Pence tax cuts, to doing even more tax cuts, particularly for businesses and individuals going forward. And we're going to tackle inflation. We got a plan to do it.
You also say that you want to rebuild the military. There was a lot of talk last night about using the U.S. military, using our forces down at the southern border. Can you expand on that?
Sure. Well, we have the worst crisis at our southern border in American history, and it's a man-made crisis. That man's name is Joe Biden. And from the outset of the Biden administration, he's thrown open the southern border of the United States. The cartels are in operational control of our border. He shut down construction of the wall. He worked to dismantle Remain in Mexico, which is a policy that I negotiated with the Mexicans. He ended Title 42 and the avalanche of humanity, creating heartbreak on both sides of the border. It speaks for itself, the flow of fentanyl the same. But, what I said last night is, I was there when we reduced illegal immigration and asylum abuse by 90%. By building that wall, by having Remain in Mexico, by doing Title 42. We can do it all again, but make no mistake about it. I also have worked with the Mexicans directly, and on day one, I'm going to call in the Mexican leadership, sit down, and say we are ready to partner with you to go out and crush these Mexican cartels that are importing drugs into our country, that are engaging in massive human trafficking. But it's partnering with Mexico that is that we did in our administration, and that'll be the model going forward for me.
Well, foreign policy policy was also a hotly debated topic last night. The Wall Street Journal editorial board's latest op-ed says, quote, former Vice President Mike Pence often seemed like the adult in the room, especially when it came to foreign policy. Here is what was said about Ukraine last night.
Is there anyone on stage who would not support the increase of more funding to Ukraine?
We would not support it. Europe needs to step up.
Anybody that thinks that we can't solve the problems here in the United States and be the leader of the free world has a pretty small view of the greatest nation on earth.
A win for Russia is a win for China.
Mr. Vice President?
Look, America's the leader of the free world. We're the arsenal of democracy. Russia's unconscionable invasion of Ukraine was an act of naked aggression by the dictator Vladimir Putin. And really, ever since the days of Ronald Reagan, we've embraced the notion that, look, if you're willing to fight our enemies on your soil, we'll give you the means to fight them there so we don't have to fight them. And I believe it continues to be in the interest not only of freedom, but of the United States of America that we give the Ukrainian military the resources that they need to repel the Russian invasion. Because, look, I have no doubt in my mind, because Vladimir Putin's made his intentions clear. If he overruns Ukraine, it's going to be a short period of time before he crosses a border of a NATO country where we're going to have to send our troops in to fight. I mean, honestly, this is really about preventing a wider war for us to give the Ukrainian military what they need. But as President of the United States, I'll do a much more effective job. Joe Biden has said we're there as long as it takes, but Cheryl, I got to tell you, it shouldn't take that long. The Biden administration has been dragging their feet on giving the Ukrainian military what they need. They've fought. They've held 85% of their soil. They've reduced the Russian military from the second most powerful military in the world to being the second most powerful military in Ukraine in the last 18 months. We give them what they need. They'll make the fight. And I promise you, it's also the most effective way to discourage China's military ambitions in the Asia Pacific is for America to lead the free world to push back on Russian aggression in Ukraine.
Mr. Vice President, before you go, I do want to ask you real quick. Nikki Haley getting a lot of heat and pushback last night and today on her comments about spending and basically calling out the Republican Party, your party, for being the big spenders, saying that our Republicans did this to us when they passed the $2.2 trillion COVID stimulus bill. Final thoughts.
Well, look, people that know me well know that from my days when I was a leader among House conservatives, I spent most of my time fighting the big spenders in our own party. In fact, in the wake of Katrina, I helped drive, when I was leading the Republican Study Committee, I helped drive the last Deficit Reduction Act to be signed into law. Look, there's a lot of blame to go around on spending, but what we need is leadership that has the experience and the proven conservative credentials to really rein in runaway federal spending in both political parties. I'm ready to do that on day one. And my hope is that last night people got a fresh look at me, got a fresh look at our background, and know that should I have the great privilege of being our standard bearer, I'm going to carry that conservative agenda forward. But more importantly, if I have the privilege of being President of the United States, we're going to bring this country back on that timeless foundation of a strong military, limited government, pro-growth policies, and traditional values that has always made America strong.
Mr. Vice President Mike Pence, thank you so much, sir, for joining us this morning. Hopefully you can get a little nap in today at some point.
Thank you, Cheryl.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, everybody.